Part 3. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind him and touched the borders of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood ceased. And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, "Master, the multitude thronged thee and pressed thee, and said thou, Who touched you?" Jesus said, "Somebody touched me. I perceive that virtue is gone out of me." And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling, falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately.
Hallelujah.
And he said unto her, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith has made thee whole. Go in peace." One more time. One more time. Verse 48. And he said unto her, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith has made thee whole." Semicolon. Go in peace. Semicolon. Go in peace. You know, no doubt, when we get to this subject and we talk about being whole, that many of us would have a very different view of what we consider to be whole. You ask one person in terms of what is a whole, that person will give you in terms of an exclamation, in terms of what is a whole. And so what I decided to do, that when I came to the text, I needed to know, since Jesus is speaking, what he means in terms of whole.
Right.
And so I decided that I needed to investigate the word whole. First, I saw that he's not the first time he uses the word in the context of communicating. When he talks to blind Bartimaeus, he says to him, "Thou art whole." When the 10 lepers came running, asking him to heal them, and one came back and gave him praise, he said to the one that came back and praised him, "Thy faith has made thee whole."
Yeah.
Okay, again, so I'm trying to understand, what do you mean, Jesus, when you say whole? Because when you ask me in terms of whole, I may have a different understanding. And so I had to look the word up, and I chased the word down, and I looked at it in terms of its Greek meaning, in terms of actually what it meant. And so what it meant was, one that not only got the healing in terms of the symptom, but one that also received salvation from God. So in other words, to be whole is for your external problem to be healed or taken care of, but also your perpetual and your internal problem in terms of where the issue have arise and where the source of the sickness have come from, or the source of the trouble, or the source of the problem, or the source of the deficiency, or the source of what it is that is making you not whole, that it is fixed as well, so that you and I can become whole. And so what Jesus says, that what he means by being whole, it means that I no longer have a sin issue. Because my sin issue has been taken care of by my Savior. In other words, Jesus is suggesting that if I have not dealt with my sin issue, then I'm not whole. It doesn't matter how much money I have, I'm not whole. It doesn't matter how good I look, I'm not whole. It doesn't matter in terms of my physique, I'm not whole. It does not matter in terms of where I live. It doesn't matter in terms of what degree I hold. It doesn't in terms of whether or not I don't hold one. It does not matter in terms of who my father or my mother or my family I am. It doesn't matter in terms of whether I am monarchy or no archy does not matter until I deal with my sin issue. I am still broken, fragmented. I'm still less than what God intended for me to be. I'm experiencing less than what God wants me to have. I don't have all that I need. I just have a fragment of some of the things that are present. And so Jesus' suggestion is, if you have not dealt with the sin issue in terms of salvation with Him, then you're still broken. You're still, you're still incomplete. You're still fragmented. You still have less than what you think. And it does not matter in terms of what people think you have. And it doesn't matter in terms of how they think you have it going on. The fact that He can look past the surface of what's on your surface and see down in your soul and know your soul is lost and that your soul is broken and that your soul is fragmented, and though you're making a good showing, that He knows, but after the show there's a broken man, there's a broken woman, there's an incomplete man, there's an incomplete woman. And so Jesus says to the woman, thy faith has made you whole by placing your faith in me as your healer and as your savior. Therefore, watch it, she came to Him for her to be her healer, but because He is all that He is and He's all that He all would ever be, she came looking for healing but got saved. There's somebody in here this morning, you didn't come for salvation, you came for God to fix your marriage, fix your family, fix your life, fix your brokenness, and God says, because I am who I am, if you believe me for one thing, I give you something that you really need. Is there anybody in here? You didn't come on here, you didn't come to God looking first for salvation. You came for Him to heal something, to change something, to make something different, and you got saved in the midst of it. You ought to shout and give God praise for knowing what you need. You ought to shout and give God praise for knowing that if you came to Him for one thing, He'll give you everything that you need. And He gave him salvation. I want to shout real loud. I remember praying, God, get me out of my misery. I remember praying, God, don't let me hurt another person. I remember that, and God saved me in the backyard of Miss Greta house when I was simply trying to stop doing what I was doing. Yeah, that's what I love about Him. Because sometimes I don't know all that I need. Sometimes I don't know all that He will give me. Sometimes I don't know that He can heal some things and He can fix some things. Sometimes I don't know, and I may not know. The good thing that because I know Him, I got everything I'm going to ever need. And so He says to the woman, thy faith has made you whole. You came believing me as a healer, but I'm about to show you I'm more than a healer. I'm a savior. I'm just not a healer. I'm the only one. Watch this right here. Now, there are many men and many prophets and many that heal people, but ain't nobody ever deliver folk from sin. He's the only one. Healers can heal the symptoms of sin, but Jesus can heal sin alone. For by His stripes we're healed. Because the iniquity of us all was laid on Him, and the chastisement of your peace was laid on Him, and God laid our iniquity on Him, and by His stripes we're healed. He's the only one can heal us from our sin. He's the only one that can heal a sin-sick soul. I don't mind folk to say that they got another God, but I just want to know, do that God heals you from your sin? Can He deliver you from your sin? Will He die for your sin? Will He get up after He died for your sin? I just want to know. I don't know. You may think you're in the right place, praising the right God, but I just want to know, have your God shed His blood for your sin? Have He taken your place in terms of your sin? Have He died for your sin? Has He resurrected on the third day and declared all power over sin? So Jesus says to the woman,
yes, God. Yes, God.
Your faith has made you whole.
Yes, God.
Watch it. You got to look at the woman in terms of, if we look at her externally, Pastor, we look at a woman that is broken and fragmented. We look at a woman that is down and out. We look at a woman that has an issue of blood left. She's got one step in the grave and another one on a banana peel. She's almost out of here. You got sick for 12 years. She has been chronically spending her mind and her money trying to get help for her body. She's out of there. There's nothing she can do. There's no one that can help her. She done went to physician after physician. She's went to the greatest mind. She's went to the best of treatment. Her money has allowed her to acquire access to health care, but it had not allowed her to acquire access to healing. And there's many of us in here that got health care, but you don't have healing. There's many of us in here that you got money, but you don't have healing. You got good looks, but you don't have healing. You got fine and vola, but you don't have healing. You got friends, but you don't have healing. You got a degree, but you don't have healing. And at the end of the day, after all that you have, you're still broken. You're still incomplete. You're still fragmented because what you have is not enough until you have Him. And so when you look at the woman that is lying pretty much on the ground, she done probably made her way up and she's down, but she had to crawl her way through. Remember the text Lynn sort of suggested to me that the way the woman got through the crowd, Pastor, she got down and she crawled and pressed and pushed her way through. She wasn't attempted, she wasn't first in the line, she was behind everybody else, but she crawled her way in order to get to Jesus. Nobody had, she wasn't on the agenda, not even Jesus' agenda, because Jesus was on his way to heal Jairus' daughter. But this woman says, based upon my situation and based upon my desperation, I'm not going to die in my situation. She says, I'm not going to die in my situation. And so the woman pressed her way, prayed her way, pushed her way, crawled her way, begged her way, just so that she can touch him. What you done this morning to get into the worship place? What you done this morning in order to touch him? What you did you at least get out of your bed? Did you at least comb your hair? Did you at least make up your mind that you was going to wake up on time so that you didn't miss Jesus when he's passing by via social media, when he's passing by in the Word of God, passing by through the mouth of the preacher? Did you at least do something in order to prove to God, I don't want to die in my situation? And therefore you showed some desperation in order to push your way because you got a destiny with divine healing to get delivered. You waiting on him to deliver his deliverance to you. Are you willing to get up and go get it? Push your way. If you're tired, you'll push your way. If you're tired of being miserable, you'll push your way. If you're tired of being incomplete, you'll push your way. If you're tired of being broken, you'll push your way. If you're tired of being fragmented, you'll push your way. If you're tired of going through and being miserable, you'll press your way. If you're tired of sin dogging you, you will press your way. You're tired of the misery of your domestic situation, you will press your way. If you're tired of your social situation, you'll push your way. Is there anybody in here that has a situation that has made you desperate enough to get up and do something different than what you've been doing? I'm tired of this. So I'm going to press my way. I'm going to leave where I am so I can get where I need to be, so I can get what I need. And so the woman, when you look at her, she's broken. I mean, when you look at her, on the external, when you look at her, she's broken, she's down to her last. But when Jesus says to you that she's whole, they're still looking at her as if she's in her old, when she's down in her new. Somebody in here need to get that thing right here. Somebody in here. Because folks are still trying to treat you like you're in your own. But they didn't hear the word that the Lord had delivered to you. They didn't know that the healing that God has spoke over you. They don't know that God had now delivered you. They don't know that God has now saved you. And though you look externally like the same person, internally he has released in you a power that can recreate you. If any man be in Christ, and a woman be in Christ, they're a new creature. Old things pass away. Behold, all things constantly fraternizing with everybody. They don't realize that you're fragmented and you're broken and your life is incomplete. And so now you have to do things in order to cope with your adjusted reality.
Thank you, God.
Can I help you as I have myself in this room? They're looking at a pastor. In verse 48, they still looking at her, and she still look as if she's not whole. But the problem is they don't realize that she's not whole on her way, listen here, not on her way to manifest a new reality.
Yes, sir. Thank you, God.
I just need to preach that to somebody.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be deterred by folks still talking about you. You're going to be deterred because of how people still size you up. You're going to be deterred. Somebody is going to try to suggest that ain't no better. You're the same. You tell them that's in your mind. I got a word from the one that cannot lie. I got a word from the one whose word cannot be stopped. I got a word from the one that spoke new things out in old places. I got a word for him that stood in the middle of darkness and called light out of darkness and called creation out of chaos. And as long as his word is in me, I'm going to make it, because before one jot or tittle of his word fell, heaven and earth will pass away. Just sit and watch. Take a ringside seat. Sit in the audience of life and watch God make me a whole and a new individual. I'm on my way. It looks like I'm in trouble. It looks like I'm broken. It looks like I'm fragmented. It looks like I'm incomplete. But what you don't know, that I've been in the presence of the one that has already made me, and that I'm whole. You can't see it, but I'm whole. You don't know it, but I'm whole. My mama may not know it, but I'm whole. Daddy may not know it, but I'm whole. Children may not know it, but I'm whole. Church may not know it, but I'm whole. I'm whole, and I know I'm whole. How you know I feel like I'm whole? I walk in authority like I'm whole. I'm changed on the inside like I'm whole. I talk like I'm whole. I walk like I'm whole. Just watch metamorphosis on this way. Just watch change is coming up. Just watch God is about to run a fire. My life, sit. Take your seat. Watch him. Watch him. Can I help you in this room? As I help myself. One more time in the text. One more time. Watch what happens in the text. So now. You're looking at a woman that is whole, but she was broken. And if I'm pastor, that when you're broken and looking whole, people say that you're whole. See, this woman has been sustained 12 years by her income and her money. And the folk looked at her and assumed she was all right.
Yeah, that's right.
The text opened up and says, there's a woman that had an issue for 12 years. And in those 12 years of having an issue, she went to the doctor for 12 years. Listen, this woman, 12 years, listen here, with an issue, same issue. Can I tell you the issue she had? The text says that she was hemorrhaging. And so that means she was losing blood. And the last time I checked, blood represents life.
Yes, sir.
She had finances, but she was losing. She had access to health care, but she was losing.
Yes, sir.
She had food on her table, but she was losing. Shelter over her head, but she was losing. And while she was losing in this thing that is called life, she's losing in the context of life. She's losing and people can't see it because her loss does not first manifest on surface. It manifests internally. She's losing blood. She's losing life, not externally, but internally. Can I help you in this room? That sometimes we look at that thing and we see everything look good on the outside, not knowing that on the inside that the people that is living is dying, and the people that you think got it going on is really going down. I don't know who said it, but it said, I'm going down when he ain't around. Baby, looking good on the outside, make outside, dressed on the outside, muscles on the outside, but on the inside, I'm losing. On the inside, I'm going down. On the inside, I'm fragmented. On the inside, I'm broken. And the inside, I'm incomplete. And so therefore, they look at the woman and it appears that she's doing fine because she's living fine, she's eating fine, dressing fine, and she has the fine of health care. She'd have been to 12 different type of doctors, for 12 years, she had enough money to pay for doctors.
Wow.
I know she had some money there. You know how I know she had? Because I'd have been at the doctor 2 minutes and doctor's talking about, that's $20,000. I'd be looking like, for what minutes?
Exactly.
Can I suggest that oftentimes we're parading around as if we're whole and healthy, but we've went to physicians and doctors and people who has given us what's my first point, but which is really like just a highlight. I won't try to preach it like it's a first point. Is palliative care and misdiagnosis. Can I suggest to you? I'm going to tell you in a minute what it is. We have palliative care and a misdiagnosis. You know how you know when you have palliative care and misdiagnosis? Is that when you go and you get help, but help don't help you. No. You go to get help, but help don't help you. You know when you know that you got palliative care is when somebody gives you something to cope where you are, but won't care where you are.
Yes, sir.
You know when you have palliative care, that when actually somebody make you feel good about feeling bad, and suggest to you it's all right, and it's the new norm. And many of us live accepting a new norm of something that is abnormal. Okay, you okay. Let me tell you what palliative care is, and maybe you agree with me. Maybe you'll see you're right. Palliative care is to reduce the violence of a disease, also to ease symptoms without curing the underlying disease. It is drugs to palliate the pain. Make it, wait, actually, they give you something to actually make you like what's wrong with you. Mr. Jean. Mr. Jean lived with me for many years. Mr. Jean told me, he used to come to church, the old gentleman used to come to church with me a long time ago. Mr. Jean had diabetes, and I would take him to the doctor, and the doctor say, you know, you got to stop eating that sugar and stop eating them cakes and stop eating all that. And he gave him insulin. So Mr. Jean was sitting down there one day, and Mr. Jean said, he said, "Rev, I'll be all right." I said, "Miss Jean, man, what you doing all this cake and all this right here?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you what I do." He said, "I eat all this, and then I increase my insulin. So my insulin can push my sugar level down, even though I keep on pushing it up." No, true. But the problem was, though the insulin was creating a false reading and a false diagnosis in terms of actually what was going on with him, that he's actually, his A1C wasn't going down on the inside. Only the external reading from the outside that he got the prick from his finger suggests to him that he's within the scope of where his diabetes should be. But at the same time, internally, his A1C is going up and more and more and more and producing higher numbers. And so eventually what happened is there's no insulin match for the match of the A1C that has gone up and off the Richter scale. And it wasn't before long that they told Mr. Jean, we're going to have to cut your leg off. Then they cut his leg off. and say we're going to have to cut the other leg off. And the reason why I got to cut the other leg off is because your A1C is not going down because you have not changed your reality. You've been living in a false reality. And so when I've been asking you in the doctor's office, what's the reading on your monitor in terms of your sugar, I'm reading numbers that is false numbers because it's false reading because you've been insulated with sugar that you can't produce.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Palliative care allows you to continue to be sick and to tell you you're well. You know why it bothers me with preachers who comes and they preach it? I don't want no preacher preaching at me all the time. I don't want them coming at me all the time. But I know preachers that never ever talk about sin. It's creating palliative care for people.
Right.
Palliative care for people.
Right. Talk about
And
it.
so actually what we do in our modern time, we make sin palatable.
Right.
So they become digestible. It is now edible and enjoyable. Even where God said it should be.
Yeah, God. Yeah, God.
And now we mad at preachers
Yeah.
who will tell the truth on you, because that's what I do. I tell the truth on you and me. My sin is just as much a sin as your sin is, and I don't mind saying I have sinned, and I need the grace of God, and the chastisement of God, and the mercy of God, and the God, but every now and then, that was but y'all, nothing else. I need God to kick my butt every now and then to wake me up to the reality that I'm living outside of His will and His way.
Yeah, God.
Let me leave y'all alone in church. Let me leave y'all. Because some of you right there talking about that's why we're trying to get rid of you now. You want to talk about our sins and your sin.
Stay right there.
Go ahead. Jezebel got a new preacher and prophet for you. But you're going to miss the rain that you're going to need. You're going to experience drought where you don't want it. Death going to come where you don't. Go on, get rid of the real, and you'll be stuck with the fake, and the faker lead you and lead you down a road that'll kill you while you're singing and dancing. You're being paid paper by the sin and by the new message that don't say nothing bad or say nothing negative. How can I talk about sin and not talk about negativity? How can I call out sin and not make you feel good? Okay, I'll leave you alone.
That's good.
Yes, God.
This woman for 12 years went to the doctor. She paid the doctor to get results that she never received. And she paid him, and he made her feel good with palliative care
Come on.
Thank you.
and misdiagnosed. Yeah. Because he kept on saying, take this, you're going to get better.
Right.
12 years, I'm still not better.
Still there.
Can I suggest
Yeah.
what the woman needed?
Uh-huh.
I stumbled over this.
Yeah.
I used to be a medical student a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
In all honesty. But let me help y'all. What she needed, what was considered to be acute care.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Acute care must also be clearly defined, standard of medical definition for an acute emphasis of the singular attribute of time pressure. Acute services, therefore include all promotive, preventive, curative, rehabilitative, and palliative actions, there we go, that word is here, whether orientated towards individuals or population, whose primary purpose is to improve their health and whole effectiveness, largely depending on time-sensitive and frequently and rapid intervention.
My God.
Let me see, that's what you just said. I said that when you're going to really solve your problem, you're going to really deal with your issue, that you're going to have to allow somebody to deal with your real stuff.
Talk about it.
Yes, sir.
And your real you.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to talk about stuff you don't want to talk about.
Right.
And you're going to have to let people touch what you don't want them to touch.
Right.
And you're going to have to let people, you're going to have to disclose what you don't want to disclose. And you're going to have to expose what you don't want to expose. And you're going to have to confess what you don't want to confess. Is it when every now and then when you go to the doctor asks you, do you drink? No, I ain't drink.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Draw your blood and the doctor say you drunk now. Go to the doctor and talk about, do you smoke? No, I don't smoke. I gave up smoking. I gave up smoking at 17. And they said, this is the longest smoke I ever had. I don't know what kind of smoke it is, but it's still in your blood.
That's right. To the system.
Amen.
Yeah.
Actually, you smoking, you walk in there smelling like cigarettes. No, I just want a day, or just a day you was going to the doctor and you had to have it, right? There's some things about us that we just don't want to be honest about.
Right.
Be honest, I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah.
We got to deal with
Yes.
what's wrong with me.
Yes.
That's good.
I got to deal with, I got to finally say it's me.
That's right.
Yes.
Can't be every woman.
Yes.
Some of it got to be me.
Yes.
Everything can't be everybody else's fault.
That's right. That's right.
Some of it has to be.
Has to be this.
Yes.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, Lord.
Common denominator.
Jesus.
Acute
Mhm.
care.
Yes, sir.
And acute care zooms in where the problem is. Acute care is not successful until it has promoted good health in you.
Yes, sir.
It is not successful until it got the disease out of you. And some of us don't want the disease. We just want nobody to know that we have it.
Right.
My God.
Can I hear it?
That's good.
I live with it as long as nobody don't know. As long as I can do it in private. Wish I had time to just teach and lay it out, but I don't. In terms of how many of us live with stuff. And because we can live with it in private, we live with it.
Yes.
And we continue.
Yes.
Same stuff, if we had to expose it to people, we would immediately stop.
My God.
Now you understand why sometimes God exposes you
Right.
so that he can show you.
Yes.
So that you can finally agree to yourself that it's not acceptable,
Right.
even though you can hide it.
Yeah.
All right, let me leave y'all alone.
Oh.
That's good.
I see. Don't talk about me like that.
That's
Please don't.
good.
That's the truth.
Okay. Okay. All right. This woman is now moved to realize she needs acute care. She can't be whole until she get acute care. Palliative care will not allow you to be whole. I don't care what nobody say. Keep running to folk who tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
Keep running to folk who agree with you when you're wrong.
Right.
Agree with you when they know you're lying and you definitely know you're lying. Keep running to folk who keeps on accommodating your wrong. And there's a difference between accommodating a person and restoring a person. Accommodating is suggesting to them that it's not wrong. Restoring it is acknowledge that it is wrong, but I'm still right here to help you get up out of your wrong. And I'd rather a person to restore me than a person to accommodate me.
Yes, sir.
Because most time when we're wrong, you know you're wrong.
Already.
And if you really love me and you really want what's best for me, then you'll tell me I'm wrong. Now, I'm not talking about wrong from your perspective, because all of us have a kind of measure and our own thermometer in terms of what we think is wrong and right. No, I'm talking about when you know God says wrong, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
And it can't become right. And I don't care. It ain't about the church and who said it, ain't about the preacher. It's if the Bible says it's wrong, then it's wrong. And can't nobody change what God said.
That's good.
Only people who change what God said is the people who now say, I don't really believe that Bible. You know, they got that Bible from King James. You know, you got that Bible, and that same Bible saved your mama and your grandmama and your great-great-grand, saved your daddy. That same Bible got you delivered. That same Bible, same word has been a hope and a help to you as a people. That same word got you saved. And now, since you want to live in sin, the Bible is wrong.
My God.
That's good.
Talk about it.
That's good.
But ain't
Better yet, watch the people who keep saying it ain't no good. Watch in terms of who they are and how This woman needs acute care. But guess who can't help her? The physicians. Let me tell you who cannot help you with acute care. Anyone who can only address your flesh but cannot address your spirit cannot help you with acute care. Because acute care is in every facet in terms of where you live and how you live. Acute care is not just your natural man, but it's your spiritual man. Acute care is not just your human man, it is your soul man. And so if somebody is going to give you acute care, not only do they need to be educated in terms of biology, they must also be educated in terms of theology. Because biology without theology will leave you stuck in ology, trying to study and figure out how to get yourself out of and how to heal yourself. But biology and theology is guaranteed to get you delivered. To soteriology, that's salvation, that is God, and the guarantee eschatology. That means that when God comes back to get you, you're going to be ready to go live eternally with Him. Okay, that'll bring my next point. The woman realized that the man or the doctor with just biology can help her because she has an eternal problem. INTR. But she also has an eternal problem. Because what she needs, she can't get in time alone. What she needs is not guaranteed in the human realm. She needs something that reaches beyond biology, that can grab hold to the one that has power over what's not seen and knows what can't be known and have power to help you where there's no power. I believe you, Lord. I believe you, Lord. Watch this in the text. The Bible says the biology, the doctors failed her. The physician that was dealing with her flesh failed her and left her in the condition the same way for 12 long years. 12 years and she's broken. 12 years and she's losing that life. 12 years and she's hemorrhaging every day. 12 years and there's no help, no hope for her. 12 years and she's spending her money trying to palliate her situation. 12 years and she haven't got any better. 12 years, all her money is gone. All her friends is gone. 12 years, she's disconnected and isolated. 12 years, she's drawing up. 12 years, she's drying up. 12 years, and nobody can help her. But she heard that there was a man, from Galilee, giving sight to the blind. She heard there was a man in Galilee that gave sight to the blind. There's a man in Galilee that gave legs to the lame. She heard there's a man in Galilee that's causing withered hands to be made whole again. She heard that's a man in Galilee that's healing leprosy. She heard there's a man in Galilee that's feeding 5,000 with a few fish. She heard there's a man in Galilee walking on water, talking to storms and make demons behave. She heard there's a man in Galilee that's turning cemeteries into living places. She heard there's a man in Galilee that promised to heal the sinning sick soul. And so this woman that was desperate, this woman that was in trouble, this woman that was broken, She lost her money, lost her house, lost her place, lost her friends, lost her family, and the only thing left is her life and her mind. But she took her little mind and made her way to the man in Galilee, touched the hem of his garment, and there, the eternal touch the temporal, there, the eternal touch the perishing, there, the eternal touch the dying, there, time and eternity have now matched and kissed each other, and eternity have made a real covenant with time. When you get through with her, I got her, she'll keep on living, and I'm glad she touched the hem of his garment. I'm glad she touched him, because him can make her whole. Jesus, I said Jesus, Jesus can make you whole again. If you're in this room, if you're in this room, don't mistake it. He and him alone. The only one, don't fool me. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Want to do it? Thank you. Want to heal your body? Thank you. Want to save your soul? Thank you. Want to turn your life around? Thank you. Want to deliver you? Thank you. Want to save you? Thank you. Want to lift you? Thank you. Want to change you? Thank you. Want to strengthen you? He says, somebody touched me. Wait a minute. They said, a lot of people touching you. He said, no. Somebody touched you. With a different touch. Everybody touched you. Oh, can I tell you what was happening in the crowd? The reason why they was touching him, Sister Jessie, because some people want to touch him, but don't want to be accountable to him. Some people want to touch him, but don't want to believe in him. Some people want to touch him, but don't want to follow him. Some people want to touch him, but don't want to change for him. Some people want to touch him, but they don't want to live with him. Some people want to touch him, but he don't want them to be Lord over them. Some people want to touch him. Jesus says, I got a lot of folk touching me, but I got somebody who just touched me with faith. I got somebody who touched me and believe that I'm a Savior. Touch me and believe that I'm a healer. Touch me and believe that I'm Lord. Touch me and believe that I'm God. Touch me and believe I got power. Touch me and believe I can deliver them. Touch me and believe I can get them out. Touch me and believe I can turn them around. He said, this touch have made me realize that there's somebody came today who want a new life, who want a new change, who want a different walk, who want just a different touch, just a touch of faith, just a touch that believes that I am who I said I am. Just a different touch, just a different healing, just a different deliverance, just a different power, just a different breakthrough, just a different move, just a different mind, just a different talk, just a different walk. Can I help you? Can I help you in this room? Can I help you? He said, somebody touch me. They say everybody touch me. He said, no, some people just bumping by. Some people just passing by. Some people just, no, this is a touch. Not in terms of my external, but they can touch my internal. And that folk that come Sunday morning, and you just touch the door, touch the chair, touch the pastor, but never touch him. But when you touch him, when you touch him, when you touch him, when you touch him, he will striking. I come to tell you this morning, keep on touching him. Touch him until your family whole. Touch him until your marriage whole. Touch him until your personal life whole. Touch him until you know about self-care. Touch him until your socializing and political life. Touch, keep touching him. Yeah. Touch him. He touched me.
Yes.
No longer the same pastor. However, but change.
Yes, sir.
Don't feel the same.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't think the same.
Yes, sir.
Don't talk the same.
My God.
Can't live the same.
Yes, sir.
Don't want to live the same. Something on the inside.
Someone in here.
Ooh, telling me to go ahead. Something on the inside. Telling me there's a new way. A different life. Thank you, God, for your touch. Thank you. I don't mean to bother you, but yeah. He keeps on touching. I wish I knew he touched me. And I'm no longer the same. I told you people thank you the same. But keep on waking up and going to sleep and keep on walking out. Keep on living out the touch that you receive when you touch him. And they'll say, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Thank you. Yeah. For keeping on. For keep on touching me and allow me to touch you. He's a healer. He's a deliverer. Hey! He can reverse what sin has done. He can recreate who you used to be. He can turn you around from where you was going. He can change what people used to see. He can change in terms of who you used to be. Just touch him and let him touch you back. Jesus says something left out of me. Somebody in here don't realize that. He says when this woman touched me, a part of me left me and went into her. Oh, somebody missed it. He said whatever was in me left me and it transferred over to her. Oh God, wait a minute, whatever left me. I know people don't want to hear it, but if he is who he say he is, if he's God like he says he's God, if he is who he said he is, then that means whatever he released in terms of it. He said, what my natural man? He said, no, this was like virtue. This was something that is on the essence of what I am on the inside. This is tied to my eternal being, not my biological being. Something left out of me, not on me, not what you can see. He says that what the disciples saw when they went up to the Mount Transfiguration and they saw me shining like the noonday sun. He said that left out of me and went into her. Can I tell you how powerful God is? God can give us all a piece of him. All how many billion it is in the world. I'll never ever be less than everything that he always at me. Jesus said, he left me, went into her. And he says, oh, somebody just got healed. I'm trying to get this in this atmosphere. If you touch him, somebody holler in this room, I just got healed. Something left out of him. Wait a minute. He's not in the room. He's always in the room. That's why people who are saved ought to get as close to the people who are not saved, because you got him on the inside and they're trying to get access, and since they don't know how to get it in terms of their own faith, get close enough and just maybe the Christ that's in you. I grew up in the church era when they used to, old folk couldn't explain it, pastor, and so they said maybe that which is in me will jump on you. Somebody grew up in that era where they say, are you good in church? And somebody else caught the Holy Ghost, and somebody else caught the Holy Ghost. The devil had made y'all y'all get mad and despise it in terms of it and say things like, oh, she started faking and the other one had to show our little comedy stuff, show, oh, what people in church shot there. No, the true reality is that like Jesus and leaped in the belly when John and them touched, because the Holy Ghost is contagious wherever it is.
Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Jesus.
Yes. Thank you, God. Yes.
Jesus.
I'll leave you alone in this room.
Thank you, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Jesus.
Somebody in this room ought to just say, I'm good.
Jesus.
Hallelujah.
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm delivered.
Yes.
I'm set free. And it's a new me that is about to evolve.
Hallelujah.
I gotta say it to you.
Yeah.
When it changed you.
It'll change.
Yes,
The
God.
woman had to wear some garments
Uh-huh.
because she was considered unclean.
Yes.
And so as they approached her, this is how you know how desperate the woman was. She wasn't supposed to allow to be among the population of people.
Yeah.
She had garments that says, not allowed,
Right.
unclean, prohibited. And the woman came anyway. That's something about it. The reason you ain't came to God yet, because somebody else told you you was prohibited. Somebody else told you you was unclean. And tell him I am. But I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because he received
Yes.
the unclean.
Yes.
And he received they that was been prohibited.
Yes.
He accept those that's been rejected.
Yes.
He takes Samaritans that weren't supposed to be here, and women at the well that don't supposed to talk to her. He does that. He let the Syrophoenician woman cry out and get children crumbs that turns into a whole deliverance for a daughter. Does not matter. Free. Free, Pastor. I'm about to let you out of this room. But if you let him pass in this room today and not know that that word was for you, and it was intended to bring change,
Yes, sir.
and it was intended to bring difference to you,
Yes, sir.
then you have missed the opportunity to become whole. Wholeness is about being saved, getting saved. Because when God comes in and saves a man or woman, he brings to you what is called an abundant life,
Yes, Lord. Amen.
a whole life,
Hallelujah.
a full life.
Yes. Yes.
And you're looking around in our reality and you're saying, those people ain't whole. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Does not yet appear what they shall be.
That's right.
They're saints, even though you see sin on them,
Amen.
because he said they are.
Amen.
He that began the good work is going to complete it.
Yes.
But some of us want to shout that this is my season to drop my sin
Amen.
and complete my sanctity.
Amen.
He let some of us take a break at sin long enough. You ought to be telling people, I'm about to come out of this sin and get back to my sainthood.
Yeah.
I'm about to start living for him again. I'm going to get to start following him again. I'm going to start staying connected to him again. I'm going to start now accommodating him again. I'm going to start making sacrifice for him again. Can I help people in this room as I help myself?
Yes, Lord.
He's allowed you in his mercy to pause in your arena of sin. And now he's trying to tell you, come out, and it's time for us to complete the work I started.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know about you, but I'm through. As much as I can be through with, I'm through with some things. I won't go back. I ain't returning. I'm out.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Don't even look for me. Don't call me. Don't respect me.
Amen.
Cancel my reservation. Cancel my membership.
That's it. Amen.
Cancel. You can either block me or delete me. Delete would be a better thing because
Amen.
I won't leave you. Just delete me.
Yes, right.
No need to call because I won't be calling you.
Amen.
And until you and I get to this place, you can't be whole and still hold on to what has fragmented you.
That's good.
And you quit calling stuff that is fragment and incomplete,
Yes.
dishonor, disrespect, that downgrade who you are.
Yes.
Quit suggesting that it is something. It ain't love, y'all, and it ain't needed. And I'm not talking personal, just in person. I'm talking about if it's my mama.
Right.
My sister sitting back there probably saying, don't you say nothing about my mama. But if it was her mama and my mama, and she didn't know how to treat me, I would tell her, you can treat all your other kids, but me you won't be. And be okay with it. Because I live in the reality of truth and fact. And you only allowed to have the honor of a calling of a position or a name based upon your actions, your attitude, and your continuation of it.
That's right.
People get mad at me all the time. You can shut me down right there.